Hi Angels. This will be the chapters 33 of You Are My Heroes by Lavender Thoughts 21 on AO3. Sleepy boys, enjoying your dinner? Aizawa asked. In front of him were two very sleepy boys who could barely keep their eyes open long enough to raise their fork to their mouths. Water always had that kind of effect on children, making them super sleepy as soon as they were bathed and changed. Even in the shower, Bakugu was too fatigued to even argue with the man about shampooing his hair. It's a good yum. Izuku mumbled the last word and didn't even finish saying the word yummy. Bakugu had his eyes closed and his chin on the table, but somehow still had the coordination to bring a piece of chicken to his mouth. Chewing slowly, then stopping, then chewing again before swallowing. You're going to choke like that? Aizawa warned and patted the table to wake them up. At the noise, the boys straightened up for a second, but slouched back the moment they realized there was no danger. They slowly began to lift their utensils and eat the food before them. Bakugu was already almost finished with his plate. For once Aizawa had finished his plate before Bakugu, a plate consisting of some chicken, rice, and mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes seemed to be one of Izuku's favorites, seeing how he slurped it up pretty quickly than most other foods. Perhaps the smooth texture requiring no chewing made his mind take a break from counting his chews. All right, finish up, then you can go to bed, Aizawa told them as he got up, ruffling Izuku's hair to wake him up as he passed. The man had thrown his bed sheets to wash earlier and had set them to dry when the boys were washing up in the shower. When Aizawa took a look at the timer, he sighed in annoyance. He always seemed to catch the dryer at the last minute, and that last minute felt like 10, and secretly he wondered if maybe it was lying to him. After what seemed like multiple minutes, the dryer powered off, and the man got out his sheets to put in the laundry basket. Just when he was about to take it to his room, he heard a crash in the kitchen. The sippy cup didn't even have time to make a second bounce before Aizawa was back in the kitchen, quirk activated as he grabbed the cup mid-air. Still the lid was hit loose and water spilled all over the floor. You boys okay? Aizawa asked as the boys groggily turned to look at him. Midoriya nodded and yawned as he stared at Aizawa's floating hair. If you are really that tired, you can go to bed. Let me clean this up while you go get settled in. I'll see you in a minute, Aizawa said and helped Izuku and Bakugu get off the chairs, scared of the chance they would fall in their drowsy stages. Midoriya held onto Bakugu's shirt as he led them to their rooms, humming coming from the green-haired boy. The blonde stopped abruptly, causing the boy behind him to crash into him. What is it, Kachan? Izuku asked, yawning and rubbing his eyes with his free hand. Bakugu paused to examine a laundry basket filled with freshly washed and dried silky bed sheets. With his brain running on fumes and without a thought behind his eyes, Katsuki let himself fall face first into the sheets. The basket almost tipped over, but the blonde rolled around as he tried to wrap himself in the sheets. Kachan, that's bad. Izuku became a little more alert as saw the blonde get comfortable. Bakugu paused, slightly closing his eyes before opening them again. Warm. The blonde stretched his arm out for Izuku, but the green-haired boy refused. No, we're gonna get in. Get in trouble. Izuku yawned mid-sentence, but Katsuki wasn't having it. Bakugu reached out further and grabbed the green-haired boy by his shirt collar, pulling him into the sheets. Izuku struggled as the blonde held him in an embrace, but quickly stopped as he felt the soft warm sheets on his skin. Slowly his eyes closed, and he was out like a light. It took a moment to clean the spill, and by the time Aizawa found the boys, they were curled up in his sheets. Of course Aizawa's heart couldn't take it, seeing the blonde hold Izuku close as they slept in the warm nest. Seeing the opportunity, Aizawa took a photo and sent it to his husband to show how cute the children were. Sent it to his husband, the husband that is currently mad at him for ditching their honeymoon, which was also Mike's first tour outside Japan. The man tried to delete it before it was sent, but it was too late. The word delivered appeared under the photo. Then, just a second later, Reed replaced that word. Aizawa's heart was in his stomach as he froze, not knowing what to do about his mistake. The man thought it obvious that his husband didn't want to see pictures of the kids he chose over him. But just when he thought maybe Hisashi was too mad to call, his phone rang in his hands. It was an instinctive response when Aizawa answered immediately, trying not to let the call ring and wake the boys. Hey, Aizawa muttered, not sure if he said it loud enough for the phone to pick it up. Really, that pitiful hey is all you got? Yamada's voice was harsh, but it was also uncharacteristically quiet. Look, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hang up last time. The kids were throwing themselves off the couch. I had to go in and... Aizawa didn't get to finish his excuse. And you didn't think to call back afterward. Or IDK in the afternoon or the day after. Hisashi's words were poised and held the pent-up anger of being ignored. I'm sorry. I know you are. And I know those two cuties are the reason you stayed, and that's a whole noble thing, and I'm an asshole for being mad you're not here. Listen, it's just a couple more days, I promise. Aizawa started. Yeah, I know, but we booked a bunch of nice hotels for over here. Every night I'm in some new romantic place, with the best views and drinks, and yet I can't enjoy any of it. Heck, I just got off stage from one of my best performances, and the arena was cheering so loud. Yet I can't fucking enjoy it because I know you're not in the crowd. This tour has turned sour. And I miss you. Hisashi's voice dropped at the end. The sound of interfering static made its noise as Aizawa tried to come up with a response. I miss you too. I'll see you in just a couple more days, Aizawa reassured. Mr. Zawa, you on the phone? Is it Auntie? Can I see? Izuku piped up, yawning as he sat up from the basket, Bakugo stirring up behind him. 1 second, darling, let me finish up this call, Aizawa said, squatting down and ruffling Izuku's green hair, masking up the pain in his eyes. Bakugo, however, felt the need to take Midoriya's request into his own hands, and made a grab for Aizawa's phone. The man successfully managed to evade the blonde's attempt, but accidentally hung up on the phone in progress. Shit, Aizawa mumbled as he realized he had accidentally hung up once again. Shit, Bakugo said out loud, catching the man off guard. Those are the bad words, Izuku gasped, lifting his hand to cover his mouth. You're right, Midoriya, no more bad words, okay, Bakugo? Aizawa tried to remedy his mistake, but the blonde just gave a tiny smirk before saying another bad word. Fuck! The blonde said boldly, standing up with his chest out, proud of himself. That's enough, Aizawa scolded. Bick, say another bad word, and there won't be any outside time tomorrow, Aizawa warned, and the confident smile dropped from Katsuki's face. Instead, the blonde clicked his tongue annoyed and furrowed his eyebrows. Mr. Aizawa, can we go sleep now? Izuku yawned with tears foaming from his half-closed eyes. I sent you to bed earlier. You're the ones who stopped to crease my sheets, Aizawa told him amused, and the boy's eyes widened. It was Kachin. I said it was bad. Midoriya protested his innocence. The boy was fully alert now that his integrity was in question. The sleepiness seemed to have left his body and was replaced with anxiety. Okay, sure, you aren't bad boys. But you know what would make you very good boys? Aizawa asked rhetorically, Bakugo tilting his head for the answer. What? Izuku questioned. Brushing your teeth? Aizawa announced, giving the boys a smile and pointing at his teeth. Oh, I used to brush teeth. I like it a lot. But then we ran out of All Might's toothpaste, and the one Auntie had was too spicy. Izuku spouted off, his hands clapping at the reveal that he would be able to clean his teeth again. Bakugo looked less than thrilled at the idea, but followed the man to the bathroom anyway. Once there, Aizawa grabbed the stool which served as a toilet stool and a sink stool by unfolding another step. Locking it in place, Aizawa urged the boys, on which they promptly did, looking at themselves in the mirror as Aizawa tore open some new toothbrushes from a box. I couldn't find any hero toothbrushes, but look, a red dragon for Bakugo and a green crocodile for Midoriya. Aizawa kept his voice cheery as he pointed out the pictures on the handles. Ooh, it has pictures, Midoriya awed at the toothbrush and grabbed it from the man's hand, spinning it around to see the full thing. Bakugo meekly grabbed his, fascinated by the picture of a dragon, but uneasy at the idea of brushing his teeth. I didn't get hero toothbrushes, but I did get some limited edition, Miracle-branded toothpaste. This one is called Rabbit's Rainbow Rush. Miracle, the new bunny rabbit hero lady. She's so cool, I see her in the TV long time ago. Right, Kakan, Midoriya said excitedly, his toothbrush shaking in his hand as he grasped tighter. Bakugo eagerly nodded, also admiring the up-and-coming hero. The box says, leap into a brighter smile, shining bright just like her hero spirit. Cool, we're gonna brush our teeth with Miracle toothpaste. So cool, Midoriya smiled brightly, eyeing the box through the mirror. Aizawa helped the kids by turning on the sink, giving them each a little plastic cup to rinse their mouth with, and wet their toothbrushes. Bakugo tried to put the toothpaste on his toothbrush himself, but squeezed a bit too much, which caused the toothpaste to fall off to the sink. Bakugo clicked his tongue annoyed, and Aizawa helped him apply the toothpaste, and did the same to Midoriya's. All right, just do what I do, Aizawa said, getting his own toothbrush ready to demonstrate. It's super important to brush in small circles, getting every part of your teeth like this, Aizawa told them, brushing his teeth in the mirror as they looked on and tried their best to copy it. Izuku seemed to hesitate with putting the toothbrush in his mouth, sniffing the toothpaste, and giving it a lick to see if it was a preferable flavor. It's okay, Midoriya, yours tastes fruity. It's not spicy like adult toothpaste. The man reassured and accidentally spat some toothpaste in the mirror, causing the boy to giggle. Don't forget the back of your teeth, Aizawa mumbled, and Midoriya slowly nodded while he brushed. Bakugo, however, didn't seem to be following along, only brushing the top of his teeth. Now last but not least, the tongue. You want to be able to taste all the yummy things we are going to eat tomorrow, right, Bakugu? Aizawa stressed the blonde's name, and the boy quickly followed along with brushing his tongue. Aizawa spat the excess toothpaste in his mouth in the sink and rinsed his mouth out with his cup. The boys followed his example and did the same, placing their toothbrushes in the toothbrush holder alongside Aizawa's. Hold on, we aren't done yet. I need to make sure you guys brushed right. You first, okay, Midoriya? Aizawa said, grabbing the boy's green toothbrush and adding just a small amount of toothpaste. Did we not do it right? Midoriya pouted, defeat in his eyes. It's something I have to do regardless. You're too little, and I have to make sure. Aizawa reassured the boy with a pat on his head. Grabbing a hold of the boy's chin, Aizawa brushed his teeth thoroughly to ensure proper keep-up. The state of his mouth wasn't as drastic as previous kids before him. There was some minor gum bleeding at the top of his teeth, but that would he naturally if he stopped brushing within a long time. The man found Midoriya's teeth relatively stainless and a proper off-white color. There you go, all done, Aizawa said, and Izuku rinsed out his mouth with water. All clean? Midoriya asked, and the man found an opportunity to tease him. I don't know, give me a big smile to see, Aizawa asked, and Midoriya tried his best to smile wide naturally, but it was shaky without a proper emotion behind it. So handsome, all clean, Aizawa told him and gave the boy a thumbs up. Instantly the boy copied the expression, a real smile on his face as he was praised. Your turn, Bakugu, can I? Aizawa asked the boy who was wearily hiding behind Izuku. Midoriya switched places with Bakugu, so the man would have proper access to his friend, and decided to spend his time waiting by trying to see his own teeth in the mirror. Aizawa, seeing Katsuki's hesitancy, raised his hand up softly, a couple inches away from the boy's face, waiting for permission before cleaning the boy's teeth. Seeing this, the blonde gave up his fight and rested his chin on the man's palm. The moment Bakugu opened his mouth, it was clear that his teeth were in poorer condition than Izuku's. It wasn't the first time peering into the boy's mouth, since the man had seen the scaring on the boy's inner cheeks due to obsessive chewing. But seeing his mouth right after a healthier Midoriya made it look a lot worse. Katsuki's teeth were more yellowish than Izuku's, and his gums were also more pale. There was also evidence that the boy was grinding his teeth together, chipping his teeth. And that wasn't the worst of it. Each time Aizawa would brush a tooth, a significant amount of blood came out from the gums. Izuku, darling, can you go settle in? Bakugu and I will be there in a bit. Aizawa sent the boy off, but Midoriya paused. Without Kachan, go, Bakugu answered before Aizawa could, mumbling with the toothbrush still in his mouth. Midoriya listened and headed off with Bakugu's approval. In truth, the only reason he sent the boy off was to spare him the horror of what was to happen right now. With the green-haired boy gone, Katsuki freely spat the excess toothpaste in the sink. However, the once white and purple paste was unrecognizably red with large amounts of blood. The boy definitely had gingivitis or even periodontitis by the looks of it, and it looked painful. Even just rinsing took a couple of tries before getting rid of blood. All done, good job, Katsuki, Aizawa praised, but for the first time, it looked like the boy wanted to cry out of shame. Hey, it will get better with time, I promise. You are still such a handsome boy, Aizawa reassured, and the blonde looked up at him with tears in his eyes. You want a hug? Aizawa asked, and the boy shook his head no. How about a head pat? Aizawa asked, expecting a no, but Bakugu didn't shake his head no immediately. The blonde did a slow singular nod, which caught the man off guard for a second. Katsuki, sweetheart, you are going to be okay. Everything will get better, my very handsome boy, Aizawa reassured, softly putting his hand on the boy's head and patting his ruffled hair softly. It was only a couple of seconds, but Bakugu didn't pull away and actually kind of leaned into it. However, as soon as he deemed it was over, the boy huffed and jumped off the stool to be left alone. Katsuki had always made it apparent that he disliked being vulnerable and always masked his emotions in hostility. But the thing to remember is that he's just a little kid, and all kids seek reassurance and comfort. Aizawa was just happy to be seen as a trustworthy adult in the eyes of Bakugu to be vulnerable around. Luckily, Aizawa had already sneaked on Bakugu's pull-up after his bath, using an All Might towel as a distraction to keep Midoriya in the dark. So both the boys were ready for bed in less than a minute. Bakugu was out the door and into his favorite spot on the bed. All right, good night and sweet dreams, Aizawa said, but Bakugu made a loud ah sound. You need something? Aizawa asked, seeing the blonde was still sitting up in bed. Bakugu reached his hand out, and Aizawa walked over confused, seeing if he had something in his palm, but found nothing. Bakugu furrowed his eyebrows and gave the man a hard stare before shoving his hand towards him, asking for something. What is it? Aizawa questioned, and Izuku tilted his head. not being able to interpret the strange action. Katsuki bared his teeth and slammed the bed with his palm up, again pleading for something. Thinking about it, Aizawa suddenly realized what he was asking for. "Oh yeah, here you go, I kept it safe all day," Aizawa told him as he got the All Might figure out of his pocket and handed it to the boy. Midoriya's eyes sparkled at the figure as he held the All Might plush in his arms. At this, Bakugu's face softened as he uttered a small sigh of relief, looking at the figure before setting it under his pillow. The blonde looked up at the man and nodded with a small, satisfied smile. Aizawa sensed he had passed a sort of test. "Can we read a book before we sleep? Do you have any?" "My mommy used to do it after she brushed my teeth," Midoriya asked without sparing a glance the man's way, playing with his fingers nervously as he waited for an answer. "Yeah, I can do that," Aizawa agreed and opened the closet door, getting a book from the top shelf. "I think I got the perfect book. This one reminds me of Bakugo earlier." Aizawa took out the book and walked over. Since the kids usually huddled by the wall anyways, there was enough room on the twin bed for Aizawa to sit comfortably. "What's the book named?" Izuku asked as he sat upright, Bakugo leaning on him to get a better view. "The title of the book is No David, written by David Shannon," Aizawa said, rubbing his finger along the words as he read out loud to the children. "The fishies," Midoriya said, distraught at cover art where the character was dragging a fishbowl off a table. The man chuckled at the boy's reaction and let the boy touch the cover for a second. "Can I flip the pages?" Midoriya asked, and Bakugo let out a huff in disagreement. "How about you flip one page, then Bakugo flips the next one?" Aizawa tried to compromise, and luckily Midoriya didn't mind sharing and agreed. Aizawa opened the book. He made sure he rested some of it on his lap, and most of it on Midoriya so they could see the pages as he read. Aizawa started to read the book out loud, and it didn't take them long to figure out the pattern. The character, David, would do some naughty things like writing on the walls and tracking mud through the house. "Come back here, David." Aizawa read out the words in a fake distraught voice, and Midoriya squealed as he saw the picture on the next page. "Look, Kakan, a butt. He is running outside with his butt," Midoriya said as he pointed at the picture on the page where the character ran outside naked. "David, be quiet," Aizawa said as he turned the page, and he took notice as both the boys tensed at the words. Still, Aizawa continued reading the story until he got to a page that said, "That's enough, David," with the character's mouth filled with food. The man decided to change the words, fearing a negative reaction from the blonde due to his relationship with food. "Eat your vegetables, David," Aizawa said instead, and was relieved the boys couldn't read words yet. Aizawa continued reading the book, and every once in a couple pages Midoriya would say something about the art in the pages before flipping to the next page, mostly pointing out some objects in the background or commenting on David's bad behavior. But then came the part Aizawa thought would be most beneficial for both the boys. "Davy, come here," Aizawa said in a tired voice, and a look of concern solidified on both the boys' faces. Their empathy showed as they feared what would happen next, most likely thinking that maybe David's mother had had enough and was going to punish him. It was Bakugo's turn to flip the page, and his hand was a little shaky as he turned to the next page slowly. "Yes, David, I love you." Aizawa finished the book, and the boys looked at the picture of the boy being embraced. "The end," Aizawa said, and closed the book. His mom was mad, but still said love yous. Midoriya questioned, and it hurt the man to see the confusion in his eyes, but even worse than that was the stunned silence of the boy next to him. Of course, even though David was always being corrected by his mom still loved him. The man explained it the best he could. But bad?" Bakugo said, confused, and looked up at Aizawa with giant puzzled eyes, tears threatening to form. "Yeah, David was bad, but still loved. You did some bad today too, Bakugo," not listening and saying bad words. The man started, and Bakugo straightened up at the accusations. "But I still love you," Aizawa told the boy. No soft tones or broken eye contact. He didn't want it to go unheard or be misconstrued. The man said the words in a bold statement and stared straight into Baku's eyes. For just a second, Katsuki's crimson eyes softened, but it was quickly replaced by an untrusting gaze. Furrowed eyebrows, pursed lips, a wrinkled nose, and squinting eyes. That was the face of the blonde straight after. "Me too?" Midoriya asked softly, grasping the sheets of the bed in his tiny fists. "Yes, I love to too," Aizawa said, putting a hand on Midoriya's head and giving him a soothing ruffle of his curls. Midoriya smiled, grasping his sheets tighter and wiggling his toes. Bakugo, unlike Midoriya, didn't take it too well and clicked his tongue annoyed, crossing his arms as well. But Midoriya's smile dropped and he sat still. "Why?" "You don't know. You don't know Kaksha no me." "No, but I know you are good boys, and no matter what, children should always be loved," Aizawa told them. "Is it cause me and Kakan a little?" Midoriya questioned, looking up at Aizawa and tilting his head. Yes, but not entirely. When you grow up, you will still be loved. So don't worry, okay? Love will always be here, Aizawa said and pointed at the boy's chest. Are you saying lies? Lies are not good. I love yous, but not if it's lies. Izuku questioned the man, not believing his words. It's not a lie. You promise? You promise that I love yous are not lies? I'm going to cry if it's lies, Midoriya pushed further. I promise I'm not lying when I say I love you, Aizawa reassured him, and despite saying what he did, Midoriya looked like he was going to cry anyway. From behind him, Bakugu's face was scrunched up in disgust, with his lip up in a sneer. Bakugu, I know you might like me saying it, and it might feel weird, and it is okay to feel that way. But I love you, even if you don't want to hear it right now, Aizawa told the blonde, but Katsuki just settled back down and huffed, eyebrows furrowing as he grumbled something unintelligible. How about one more story? I can grab a happier one, Aizawa asked, starting to get up, but Midoriya grabbed his shirt and kept him down, while Bakugu reached for the No David book that the man was going to take away. No new book. Can we read this one again? Izuku questioned as he held onto the man's arm. Yeah, we can read it again, Aizawa agreed and settled back down into the bed. Midoriya got comfortable and leaned on the man, resting his head on the man's arm. Bakugu, seeing this, huffed angrily and jealously got closer to snuggle himself on Izuku's opposite side. All right, just one more time then bed, okay? Aizawa declared, and Midoriya nodded, a yawn escaping the boy's lips. Throughout the second reading, Aizawa found the green-haired boy burrowing deeper into the man's side, enjoying the man's warmth. Midoriya didn't even make it halfway through before losing his battle with the Sandman. Bakugu, however, was paying attention, fighting his drooping eyes as he rested his head on Izuku's shoulder. Yes, David, I love you. Aizawa finished the book again, but this time Bakugu's lips twitched into a sleepy boy's chapter text. Enjoying your dinner? Aizawa asked. In front of him were two very sleepy boys, who could barely keep their eyes open long enough to raise their fork to their mouths. Water always had that kind of effect on children, making them super sleepy as soon as they were bathed and changed. Even in the shower, Bakugu was too fatigued to even argue with the man about shampooing his hair. It's a good yum. Izuku mumbled the last word and didn't even finish saying the word yummy. Bakugu had his eyes. This is the end of chapters 32. I'll see you in chapter 33. If you have suggestions, let me know. Don't forget to subscribe to know when the next one is out. Have a good day, angels.